Time for the deep dive. We do it every Monday during the football season. We start with the NFL and finish with college football. Two bad beats to speak of right out of the gate. Oregon, laying 10.5, 12.5, depends where you bet it. It was up to 14. Money came in on Nebraska. It was 42-14 at the half. Oregon didn't score the rest of the game, and they also intercepted Nebraska 4 times and still couldn't get the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough beat. You're up 42-14 at halftime. That game was a rout. It was over. There was a ton of late Nebraska money. As you mentioned, the Ducks were as high as 14. They were bet all the way down to 10.5. They're up by 28 at the break. They don't get the money. Bad beat via the Oregon Ducks.
And this one was an all-timer. Boise State money line, catching 10 or 8 whenever you bet it. They were up 31-10 with 8 minutes left on the road, and Falk was out, so they were facing Washington State's backup quarterback. There was a pick six. There was a punt that hit a returner in the back. Lunacy. They blow it and lose in triple overtime, 47-44.
Sure, and the Broncos were looking at a big payday. Or Broncos backers looking at a big payday with them as 10-point dogs on the money line. Nice cash. Let's see. You're up 3 touchdowns with 8.5 left. You're supposed to cash those bets. That's a tough beat. And the way that it happened with those bizarre circumstances, a little Mike Leach late night magic in Pullman on Saturday. Boise still got the money plus the points, but money line backers, that was a tough one.
All right, let's go rapid fire. A lot of bad bets. Ohio, Friday night, they took money, plus 4.5 down to 2.5. Purdue ran them out. You think Jeff Brom can coach? And Nebraska, Oregon, under 73.5 down to 68, never a chance.
Yeah, okay, Brom, 2-0 against the spread at Purdue. He's beat the spread by a combined 39 points in those games. His former team, Western Kentucky, 0-2 against the spread. They've lost to the spread by a combined 43.5 points. So, yeah, Jeff Brom's made a pretty big difference. And obviously, you talk about that under. Well, for Nebraska, Oregon, all that under money. The Cornhuskers defense tightened. Well, it was a little bit too late for the under bettors after Nebraska's defense started to play. Ducks got shut out in the second half. Didn't matter. Game still went over the total.
Two bad from the same game, both of them. Wisconsin, 29.5 to 34.5, and the total 57.5 to 59.5. Wisconsin only scored 31 points. Rutgers, look at this, up to 3, bet from 3.5 to 6 at home. They lost outright to Eastern Michigan, and Oregon State, they're a bad team. Remember, their only win is against Portland State at home by 3. Bet from Pick'em to 2.5. Minnesota killed them on the road in the rain.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the Wisconsin money. The favorite and over money showed heavy favorite money, heavy over money, but the favorite didn't even score enough to cover the spread if it was a shutout. Hard to lay big points with Wisconsin. They play a slow tempo, not a whole lot of chances for big plays. Rutgers against Eastern Michigan. Look, I watched that game. I had Rutgers money in my pocket. They were not the better team. A middling MAC team was the superior squad. There was nothing fraudulent about that result. Rutgers power ratings, you don't want to adjust them up after Washington. Probably want to adjust them down. They were not a confident squad. And the Beavers now 0-3 ATS. They haven't even come close to covering a point spread. Expect a big market adjustment this week. Oregon State has lost to the number by 87.5 points over their first 3 games of action.
Bad for the books, a lot here. Notice how this game felt. Iowa opened 1.5, closed 3.5 at Iowa State. They won by 3 in overtime, 44-41. That's not good. This was favorite and over twice. West Virginia, 19.5 to 25, total 61.5, all the way to 69.5. They thumped East Carolina and almost dropped 60 on them. Louisville, 6.5 up to 12, and the total 63.5 to 66. And they beat North Carolina on the road 47-35. Jackson, 500 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Well, Jackson was unreal on Saturday. But we got to talk about Iowa State, Iowa, a game that the books were primed to cash in on. There was all this Iowa money. Iowa State was about to win. Well, you see the catch right there. Look at the picture. Late Iowa TD to tie it, send it to OT, and then the worst case scenario for the books. Everyone that bet Iowa State late cashed. Everyone that bet Iowa early cashed. Middle, and that's never a good result for the house. And you talked about the 2 favorites, West Virginia and Louisville. Well, at least East Carolina, the defense coordinator Kenwick Thompson got fired after the game, so bettors won't get another chance to knock him down, at least not this season.
Look at this. This is something to follow. You wonder if Baylor's going to quit on the season. Laying 33 at home to Liberty, lost the game, plus 16-17, at home to Texas San Antonio, bet down to 11, lost the game. They didn't do anything on offense. Look at the yards in that game as well. As they lose, and now their schedule actually gets tough, and they have to go to Duke, who just destroyed Northwestern. TCU opened the dog, went off the favorite, laying 2.5 against Bielema. They won 28-7, and Mississippi State, that are from 6.5 to 10, they ran out Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about Baylor, because this is a team that has lost straight up at home as double-digit chalk to Liberty and Texas San Antonio the first 2 weeks. And they've lost those games because the two lesser schools' players were every bit as good as Baylor's kids. Whatever your power number for Baylor, crash it. That team it's going to be a long rebuild, let's put it this way, for Matt Rule and company. And stat play of the year, we have to talk about what happened in that Louisiana Tech game because it's going to mess up everybody's databases. La Tech lost 87 yards on a bizarre fumble scramble. It went from a first and goal to first and inside their own 10-yard line, and that goes down as a rushing loss for them. Yeah, exactly. So it comes out as a rushing loss for them and a huge play for the Mississippi State defense. That's something you need to manually adjust if you're dumping data into your personal stat sheets. That's a misleading stat. The rushing yards must be manually adjusted for that ballgame.
Yeah, you'll never see that again. It was 3rd and 93 for Louisiana Tech. 2 more. UNLV opened an 8-point dog. Money came in, closed 4.5. Idaho never in the game. Good road win for UNLV, 44-16 after the embarrassment against Howard. And I talked to Nick Bogdanovich, director of trading at William Hill. All the Utah fans were driving to the border to Wendover, Nevada to bet Utah. They were a +1.5, went off the favorite -4.5. A huge move. Nothing but Utah money. It was the biggest decision of the day. And he told me that on a Friday, 1913 Utah.
Yeah, it was an absolute disaster for the sports books. I mean, that particular game, you talked about Utah, and I think we had the graphic wrong. That's my fault. They were dogs at the open. They were +1.5. Yep. They closed -4.5. There was a deluge of Utah money. The pros liked it. The public liked it. And bettors saw the talent gap. You know, BYU went independent. We wondered how it was going to go. Well, I have concerns about the talent level on that team. They just have no skill position talent whatsoever. Bettors saw it, bettors cashed in, and the bookmaker's going to have to make a big adjustment for the BYU power rating moving forward.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.